Red is the color of passion, and perhaps no other color has elicited so much emotion and symbolized emotion as much as red. But why does red, the color with the longest wavelength of visible light, symbolize love, lust, hate, anger, war, and tenacity, all at the same time? Every language that has words to describe color will have words for black and white, as they refer to dark and light. But the next most common color is a name in reference to red. The primary reason for this is flowing through your veins. Blood is due to hemoglobin, a protein in red blood cells that contains iron as well as iron oxides that turn from gray to red. This is somewhat similar to the way that iron infrastructure will rust when it comes into contact with air and most of all water, which contain oxygen, turning from gray, a boring color, to red, a color of passion and emotion. While blue is the most popular color, our perception has told us that red is perhaps more important, as it by and large is named earlier. After all, the cool, tempered manner of blue is younger on the evolutionary timeline than the emotions of red. Emotions, like anger, are necessary impulses of desire and are far older than the development of the frontal lobes of our brain that produce the latter period of our evolutionary path, the one of reason. And emotions can produce and inspire violence. Various flags throughout the world have colors with red on them, in reference to the blood of those who fought in countless wars across time and space. It's not a surprise that the Greek god Ares, the rip-off Roman god Mars, both were symbolized as red, and thereby the red planet, which shares the Roman god's name, is also red. For those of you wondering why Mars is red, it is not due to blood, obviously, but rather due to a similar process of oxidization that makes red blood. In fact, the surface of Mars has high concentrations of oxidized iron, which rusts into a reddish-brownish color. Early man saw the color red brightly in cardinals and a variety of other animals that are far more subtle in their red color, from foxes to robins to gingers, depending on your geographic location. There are other animals such as lobsters and horseshoe crabs, cephalopods such as the octopus, which have blue blood. Perhaps if an intelligent octopus were to evolve enough intelligence to have their own civilization, the color blue, which flows through their veins, would be considered the color of passion, war, and sacrifice. Early men encountered the color of blood more often than we do today, not only due to higher rates of intertribal and band warfare, but also through hunting. Most of the beasts of the earth are brown, gray, black, and white, but beneath their fur and feathers lies a pulsating red. Perhaps the danger of hunting resulted in the color red being associated with emotions, the thrill of the hunt, and the danger of hunting various creatures throughout the world. Early man and woman, for the most part, used the color red in their artwork, probably the earliest form of pigment. Pigments could be used from oxidized iron clay. This could be used in various forms of cave paintings, from Mesoamerica to China and beyond. Red has also been associated with sexuality, desire, lust, and even sex work. To this day, some have mentioned the red dress effect. It refers to how the color red oftentimes results in a heightened sense of, let's just say, sexual desire and intimacy. Sometimes romance, sometimes love, sometimes sex, sometimes all three at the same time. As unsexy as it seems, various other primates associate the color red with fertility due to estrogen opening up the blood vessels. A large percentage of women turn reddish when they are sexually aroused. Alas, there is no conclusive explanation of why we associate red with love and sex, but there are a variety of convincing conceptual explanations. Like other bright colors such as purple and blue, red was oftentimes worn by the elite due to its relative rarity compared to brown and gray, but it was never as rare as the aforementioned blue and purple. In Italy, it became the symbol of various noble houses and eventually the cardinals of the Vatican. The cardinals of the Vatican wanted to discard the elitist purple robes of their predecessors and adopt more humble colors, but not as humble as the color brown, the humble of the masses. So they got a good midpoint. Speaking of the have and the have-nots, during the 19th century, another ideology would gain traction when Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels wrote the Communist Manifesto. Several decades later, during the First World War, the Russian Revolution would take place using the color red as a symbol of universal struggle of the working class, the poor and the downtrodden. It became the color of communism. The Soviet Union, Maoist China, South Vietnam, and a variety of other socialist communist nations adopted red as the color of the proletariat. Today, the vast majority of these nations have switched to market economies or state capitalist economies, but the color iconography has prevailed in many of them, such as China and Vietnam. In the United States, however, the color red has been associated with the conservative Republican Party, so the rule is not set in stone. Today, we still see the color red in political contexts, such as Remembrance Day in the Commonwealth, in the honor of soldiers who shed their blood during the First World War, symbolized by red poppies of Flanders fields. Today, red is one of the most common colors on flags in a variety of cultures: Western, former communist, Islamic, and others. In Western countries, red, white, and blue, in a variety of different combinations, tend to be the most common flag color combination. Today, red is usually the second, third, or fourth most common favorite color depending on your nationality, gender, and age. But it will always be the color of our emotions, passions, and desires, for better or for worse, and probably both.